Let's get into some things, child. We got some stuff to talk about today, honey. We got some stuff to talk about. Hit that like button if you are new here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We have a great time over here. You meant what you said when you said it. Really be as bad, because I'll be understanding y'all sometimes. And when y'all know when I say y'all, you know I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about y'all. This means that all these people that got something to say have been actively involved in the political process in their world. I don't believe it. You ain't gonna convince me. I know y'all love me. What's up? Happy my birthday. How about that? Happy my birthday. Okay? Listen, the way y'all blew me up to tell me that this verdict was in, the way that y'all were in my DMs down to the Instagram. Y'all ain't gonna let me miss it. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Baby, when I tell you I was on the phone with El Teddy, and I literally, when I say literally, I was literally getting in the shower. Literally getting it. I was getting ready to get off the phone with him and get in the shower. Oh, Lord. Okay, y'all. So, thank you so much, Bap, for the happy birthday. Thank you to everybody. My Cash App, Toby. Oh, it's $. Do I need to pin it? Thank you, Toby. First of all, thank you for wanting my Cash App, because I hope that means you're about to bless me. But do I need to pin it in the chat? It's right there on the bottom, though. It's $ReallyBthePodcast. I'm sorry, y'all. Thank you, Miss Toby. Mwah! Thank you, my love. So thank you to everybody for the birthday wishes. I see them rolling in. Okay, let me pin it. Okay, $. Hold on. $. Is it what I say? ReallyB the podcast. Okay, let me pin it. But thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the thank you. I just got it. Thank you. I don't want to call people government names. Y'all know I don't do government names over here. So if it's your YouTube name, I'll read it. But if it's your government name, I'm gonna just say thank you. I appreciate y'all. We will be back tonight for the birthday party. Now listen, I got about an hour. So, hey, Miss T, what's up? So, I'm going to get into the verdict a little bit, and then I'm going to let y'all talk. I want to hear what y'all have to say. I know some of y'all are disappointed. I know some of y'all are happy. I know some of y'all feel like this is what you expected. I don't know why. Somebody just sent me a message and said I just got a super chat. I don't know why it's not. The person just sent me the message. I don't know why it's not letting you super chat, boo. I don't know. But thank you for the thought. I appreciate the thought. I definitely appreciate the thought. Thank you, Miss T. This is what I got. This my Mickey ears from Disney World last week. Let me tell y'all something. I wasn't interested in getting no Mickey Mouse ears. I was like, I'm not getting no Mickey Mouse ears. But when we went to Animal Kingdom and I saw these, I said, oh, I gotta have these. I thought these were so cute. So yeah. Okay. So let me say this. I'm kind of all over the place, but I'm going to get to what I want to get to. Remind me to tell y'all about my eye in the sky. I'm not going to reveal who it is, but I got some information to share with y'all about my eye in the sky. Just remind me, because y'all know I'll go left, I'll go right, and then I'll forget that I wanted to say something. Especially once I open up the panel, child. Who knows where that's going to go. Let me say something. Thank you, Quake. Thank you, Boo. Thank you. Thank you so much. We'll do the gifted memberships. We'll do that tonight at the birthday party. I forgot to do them yesterday. We'll do it tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Quintessential. Thank you, my love. So let me just read you guys this real quick. This is, I know y'all already know, but for the purposes of what's up, TC, but for the purposes of the live, let me read y'all what had happened. Okay. Sean Diddy Combs was found guilty on 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution in his federal trafficking and racketeering conspiracy trial on Wednesday. He was found not guilty of racketeering conspiracy or 2 counts of trafficking. The big picture. Here's the big picture. Hey, DeMarcus, thank you. Happy birthday, Really Be, in the G-Dep music video featuring P. Diddy. This could have foreshadowed the status of the case. Oh. Well, it could be it could be foreshadowing, or it could just be that's what they wanted. But yeah, it could be. It could be. The big picture. The rapper and music producer who has been held in a Brooklyn detention center since September had pled not guilty to charges of racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. I thought this was going to be a deeper video. Okay, whatever. All right, I thought that was going to be deeper. So is he going to jail or not? That's up to the judge. Sentencing will be at 1. I'm going to tell y'all now, I will not be available for sentencing. I'm going out to a late lunch, early dinner with the parental units, okay? So I will not be available to go live to talk about the sentencing. We can discuss it tonight at the birthday party, okay? We can discuss the sentencing tonight at the birthday party. Let me say this to you guys, and I hope I don't piss nobody off with what I'm about to say, and I might, and that's okay. I still love you. I really need us, and when I say us, because I'm guilty of it too sometimes, I really, really, really need us. And thank you for being a member for 44 months, boo. To take our emotions and separate it from the law. We've got, because I had a lot of people, when I was trying to tell y'all that the prosecution wasn't proving RICO and the prosecution wasn't proving certain things. And I'm nobody's attorney, so I'm not saying y'all gotta listen to me, but I listen to the attorneys who do have a degree. They have their Juris Doctorate, okay? And for the most part, most of the attorneys that I listen to have been telling y'all that they ain't really proving this RICO. Now, they had a couple of good days, but overall, they wasn't really knocking RICO out the park. And I know that some of y'all don't like Diddy. And I know that some of y'all feel like Diddy is a terrible human being. And I know that some of y'all feel like Diddy did all the things that he's accused of doing. And that's fine. Y'all can believe it. But your personal belief on something and what they proved in court are not always the same. And I love y'all, but y'all have got to let y'all take y'all emotions out when it's a legal situation. Now, we can have our opinions all day long. Y'all know that's what we do over here, okay? We have our opinions all day long, but thank you for being a member for 18 months. It says your birthday is a bad omen for celebrities. First Whitehead, now Diddy. Whitehead was right before my birthday last year, wasn't it? So he been in jail for about a year now, huh? Well, he's actually been in jail over a year because remember, he was remanded. I think back in, what was that? March of last year, he got remanded. How soon before he starts Diddy bopping on our timeline, or do you think he's going to be a reformed act? If Diddy is smart, he'll go sit down for a couple of years. If Diddy is smart, he will go sit down for a couple of years. Because here's the reality. We got short memories. And when I say we, I mean people. We have short memories. So if Diddy really need to just go now, I think his corporate relationships are going to be damaged for a lot longer than his relationships with the people. Diddy can put out an album in about a year and people going to buy it. And all he got to do is put a couple of songs on there about, I'm sorry, I apologize, I learned my lesson. Like, he just got to strategically put a few little words into the songs, and the people gonna eat it up. You know what I'm saying? The people are gonna eat it up. I don't think jail humbled him because I think he's a narcissist, and I don't think he can be humbled without therapeutic intervention. Like, I honestly do not think that this is going to humble him, because remember, he was facing damn near life in prison and he got convicted on prostitution. So I don't think this is going to humble him, but I could be wrong. Let's be clear though, he still is not out of the woods. He has a lot of civil cases that he's got to resolve. And the burden of proof for civil cases. What's up, sis? Hey, what's up, Tina Bina? Civil cases do not have the same burden. So he's got a lot of civil cases that he probably would be in his best interest to try and resolve as fast as possible. Because the reality is sort of like what happened with O.J. Simpson. A lot of people feel like O.J. Simpson got away with, unaliving Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. So when the civil case rolled around, it was a slam dunk. They found him guilty without any thought because a lot of people on that jury felt like he had gotten away with it. So I feel like these civil cases, and I'm not talking about the more ridiculous ones that people felt like were just extreme cases, but the average person that's probably got a civil lawsuit against Diddy right now is in a pretty good position because everything that went down in court and all of the testimony that happened in court and all the things that went down in court, like, if Diddy's smart, he will settle these. He should not want to see a courtroom no time soon. He moved his money, so they got nothing from him, which was super smart. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. OJ. Oh, you talking about OJ? Yeah. They didn't get a lot off. Oh, that's why OJ had to sell his paraphernalia and stuff. Yeah, because you're right. Yeah, he put a lot of stuff in. And Diddy's done the same thing. Like, Diddy has stuff in his kid's name, his mom's name. He did the same thing. So yeah. But it would be in his best interest. And for him to go off somewhere and just be quiet for about a year. Because people forget there'll be another scandal in a couple of months, or hell, people need to be paying attention to what's going on with their Medicare right now, but we ain't gonna go down that road, child. Lord, I ain't got it in me to go down that road. But let me say something to y'all. And then I'm gonna open up this panel. I'm gonna give y'all a chance to come up and for those who want to get up and say their piece, I'm gonna let y'all do that. Miss T said, I am confused. So maybe what I'm about to say might unconfuse the people. And I'm not calling you out, Miss T. I just read your comment, right? Last October, and I remember it was October because I know where I was when I got this phone call. Last October, I was in Louisville for the book festival. So that's how I know where I was, and that's how I know when it was. Oh, the eye in the sky is here. I know the eye in the sky is here. And the eye in the sky, the story I'm about to tell, the eye in the sky knows this story very well. I got a phone call last October. And it was from somebody who was very frustrated, somebody that is in the know, in the loop, on the case. Not on the case literally, but y'all know what I'm saying. Read between the lines. And the phone call I got last October, hear what I'm telling y'all, this was last October, said to me, we got nothing. The eye in the sky told me, we got a lot of freaky tapes with a lot of people. Some celebrities, some people you would know. But really all we got is a lot of freaky shit. That's what we got. I was told months ago that there was nothing in the baby oil. I told y'all that. See, y'all don't want to listen to me sometimes when I be trying to tell y'all shit. Y'all want to argue with me, and I be trying to tell y'all stuff that y'all don't want to hear me. But I told y'all there was nothing in this baby oil, that the baby oil was there because he liked the baby oil when they was having the parties. But I told y'all a long time ago there was nothing in the baby oil. It was just baby oil. I was told we have a lot of tape of a lot of freaky stuff, but we don't have any tape of anybody saying no. We don't have any tape of anybody looking like they're being forced to do anything. And in some of these tapes, I'm going to put in air quotes, victims are initiating the situations. Now, Did that not come out in court? That on some of those tapes, the victims were initiating the activities. Did we not read text messages where some of the victims were begging to have F-offs and to party? Did we not? Did we not? I was told that back in October. Hold on, y'all. This is my cousin. Hold on. Hey, cuz, what's up? Thank you. Happy birthday. So what I'm saying is, I'm sorry, y'all. Thank y'all for your patience. So what I'm saying is, we can think what happened was disgusting, and we can think that that maybe Diddy did manipulate those women. We can think that he put them in a position where they felt like they had to do that to stay. Like, we can, and we definitely know he's an abuser. Like, that has been proven that he is a violent person. But that's not what he was being charged with. If he was being charged with domestic violence, I think that's a no-brainer. We got a whole videotape, and there's no way they can slice that. In my opinion, they can't slice that tape no other way. But that's not what he was being charged with. Even with the drug part of it, they wanted to charge him, but they were never. Where did we see any proof that he was moving? Like, he was buying them, he was using them, but he wasn't El Chapo. So if y'all pay attention, I really had lost interest in all of this because I honestly didn't feel like this was going any different way. Like, once somebody tells you, yeah, all we got is a bunch of freaky sex tapes. And they did depose a lot of people, but if these people are saying, listen, I'm not going to testify, and they don't have anything to make them testify, like, look at it. The people that testified, they had to give them immunity. You had Cassie, you had Jane Doe, and then I think everybody else they had to give immunity to get them to testify. It's kind of like Jane Doe, they should have left her. They should have never let her testify. Gina was supposed to testify. She disappeared. Isn't it funny how Gina popped up yesterday? Did y'all see how TMZ found Gina yesterday? She was supposed to testify. Where's she been? All of a sudden now the verdict is the verdict is in, and now all of a sudden she pop up down to the Whole Foods, and TMZ just happens to find her walking through the parking lot. Come on, y'all. The check cleared. They needed Jane Doe. Well, Jane Doe did not help them at all. Let me tell you when I stopped listening to Jane Doe. I stopped paying attention to Jane Doe when they said that Diddy's still paying her rent. Girl, what? Like, to this day, Diddy is still paying your rent? Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Go sit down. they were trying to say them taking the drugs that he had was the right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like they were really stretching it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Diddy is not a horrible person. I'm not saying none of that. Right. The drug mule wasn't even a drug mule. Right. They tried to make it seem like that white boy that got caught on the plane was this big drug dealer and he supplied Diddy. He was Diddy's personal assistant that was carrying around Diddy's personal supply. He was not a dealer. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, it was a lot. So I really, if y'all paid attention, I had lost a lot of interest, not because I didn't think it was, I just was like, well, you know, so. So I'm about to drop this link. Jay Lee is here. Where's Jay Lee? Hey, Jay Lee. I didn't see you, boo. Hey, Jay Lee. The Karen Reed case was more interesting to me than the Diddy trial. The Rico case was weak. It was very weak. Yeah, Karen Reed was definitely interesting. Right, he's right. He was addicted to drugs. Yeah, Brendan gave good testimony. They did not use him well. He was a key in Rico, and they fumbled him spending time on useless people. Yeah. He's definitely an abuser. Like, I don't think you're gonna get anybody. I mean, his own attorney said that in the closing arguments. His own attorney said, yeah, he definitely put his hands on women. When your own attorney concedes to a crime in the closing argument, you got to know that crime, like they're like, listen, we know he did this. Okay, we know he put his hands on women. That's clear. You know, and he liked freaky sex. I'm gonna drop the link, y'all. I got a few more minutes. What time is it? It's 11:17. Yeah. And ultimately, here's what I think is going to happen. I think somebody asked that a few minutes ago. Here's what I think is going to happen as far as that. It's federal. So generally speaking, in federal cases, once the sentencing is handed down, unlike in state court, when it's federal court, they give you time to sort of get your affairs in order. I believe that they're going to probably let Diddy out and then allow him to turn himself in probably about 3 to 4 months. Generally speaking, that's what happens. And the reason why he was being held without bond, remember, is because they were saying that he was tampering with witnesses and stuff. Well, there are no witnesses to tamper with anymore. So I feel like his attorneys are going to probably successfully argue that he should be allowed to get out and get his affairs in order and all of that. Yeah, I absolutely expect that. Thank you for the birthday wishes. I absolutely expect that. And he's probably going to get it, you know? All right, y'all, I'm about to drop the link. Okay. We're going to be, listen, I don't feel like I need to say it, but everybody has a right to their opinion. Even if you disagree, we're going to disagree respectfully. But everybody has an opportunity to say what they need to say. You don't need to show your face on camera, but before I bring you up on stage, I do need to verify you're a real person backstage. Nobody will see you but me. Okay? He was absolutely found not guilty on the RICO. Right. He still needs to go sit down somewhere if he gets out. Nobody wants to be bothered with him but Gina and Jane Doe. He can kiss endorsements, award shows, invitations, goodbye. He can definitely, hey, John, I see you. Lovely soul, I see you. Y'all can turn y'all cameras off. And I mean, if y'all want to stay on camera, that's fine. Little baby. Okay, I see you, little baby. Just John, do you want to stay on screen? Jonda, did you want to stay on camera? I don't want to bring you up if you don't want to be on camera, babe. I don't know. Okay, cool. Oh Lord, how I keep removing people. Hold on. All right, you guys. Who did I? Okay, add to stage. Okay, so just Jonda, you were first. I just didn't want to bring you up. If you didn't want your face shown, so I'm gonna let you speak first because you were the first one to click the link. So what you got to say, ma'am?
Well, I think that this jury, this verdict, at least in my opinion, and certainly in the way that things have been going the past couple of weeks and definitely the past couple of days, was fairly predictable. In fact, I just said yesterday, when discussing this case, that at this point, if the verdict had come back this morning early, that as it relates to the RICO, they were going to find him not guilty. I think that things were very confusing in terms of the charge, the charge to the jury, the jury instructions, and that's not saying that people are incapable of understanding things, it just because they're not lawyers. I just think it was just confusing in the way that the information was relayed to them. Reading them as someone who's done this for over 20 years, I was still like, what the heck? So I think that didn't help. And I also think that there are some larger implications as well in terms of the verdict. Without them charging some of these charges, particularly the SMEX trafficking, I see I'm trying, as it relates to the actual SMEX workers, then it was going to be an uphill battle, because unfortunately we are still not in a place, not only as a culture, but even as a society at large, patriarchy, all of that, where regular folks see women as victims who they perceive to be benefiting and or living a better life than they could ever dream of. So if you have to take a couple of licks and you keep going back, there is a lot of people who will view that as the cost of doing business. And for those of us who don't believe that, because, I certainly know I don't, I know that a lot of people on this panel don't, you have to remember that you've got to get 12 individuals who do not know each other, who are not of common mind, friendship, all of that, because we tend to hang with people who like finds like. 12 individuals who've never met each other, different age, culture, what have you. But the one thing we have in common is the patriarchy. But to get 12 people to agree on that, or to agree to find somebody guilty under those circumstances, that was almost an impossible task, no matter how much those of us who understand the law and may feel like it certainly applied, maybe not in every instance of every freak off, but enough to make the offense. 12 people agreeing to that is just too much. And as it relates to the RICO, if they weren't going to find him guilty of any of the standalone SMEX trafficking, not that they had to, there were other things involved in the RICO. Again, I think that the RICO case was made more complicated than it needed to be, and was not presented in a way that drew everything together until the jury had already sat for 3.5 weeks listening to things that fatigued them. I think, yes, Brandon may not have been a textbook drug mule, but Brendan tied together a lot of other stuff, like, even the purchase of the drugs, whether they were for personal use or not. He tied together great stuff when the actual business accountant and other people are potentially involved in that. They're a part of the enterprise doing those things. But anyway, I know I spoke too long. I'll sit here and wait for other people. Plus, my daughter's calling me, but I'm sitting here waiting. I love it.
No, you're fine. Thank you. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to go to, I think, Lovely's. I don't know who was next. I ain't going to tell y'all no lie. I think it was Lil Baby and Lovely Soul. But let me say this real quick before I go to, I'm going to go Lovely Soul and Lil Baby. Something you just said, just Jonda, I'm going to agree with 100%. After the first day of the trial, well, I'm going to say the first couple of days, that's when I was like, so we just going, I felt like they were just spending way too much time on the sensationalism of what Cassie went through. And that's not to take away from Cassie's story, but I just did not see. I said, well, maybe they're doing this because Cassie's pregnant and they got to hurry up and get her in and out. But then when they kept doing it, when they kept just making it so sensationalized, I was just like, okay, I don't see how it's like you said. I think it took them so long to tie everything together. And I'm just going to repeat this, and then I'm going to let Lovely Soul speak. I'm sorry.
I agree with you, by the way. Way too much time spent on Cassie.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say this. I'm again. Remember, these are not the same people who brought the indictment. So I think we also have to take into consideration that this case may have been tried a totally different way if the original AUSA had been on this case. I firmly believe this would have been a different case. But go ahead, Lovely Soul, and then Lil Baby.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for coming up.
Hey, thank you. And first off, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Okay. Um, this whole thing doesn't really shock me. When I heard the verdict, I immediately went to prayers for all the victims involved here. And there are more victims than hmm, there are more victims here than what was named and mentioned or who came out.
Agreed. I
Because
agree.
in the long run, Diddy's younger kids are victims because they're
Mm,
going to wear this tag for the rest of their lives in everything that they
mm.
do. They're going to be associated with that madness. The whole thing happening, it brought light to what really is going on in the world. Sorry, that's my bird. What's really going on in the world? You know, you
You're
can
going out. Your
say,
sound is going out. I don't know what you
okay,
just
can you
did.
hear me now?
Your sound was fine. Yeah, you okay. Yeah.
Okay,
You're back.
okay. All I can think now is just pray for all the victims involved. And far as him being released, being these are federal charges, yeah, they usually release them, let them get their affairs in order and allow them to turn themselves in. I hate to say this, but they do that. Diddy is not coming back. He's not. He is not
When you
going
say
to
not coming
sit.
back, you mean coming back to what?
He's not going to turn himself in to serve his time.
Oh,
He's
you
either
think he's
gonna
gonna flee?
he's either gonna leave the country,
Oh,
or
okay.
it may happen in God's hands, put it to you that way, because he
Okay.
knows too much. This whole thing, people think it's just United States. No, this is international. He's
Okay.
tied with some international people. He's
Okay.
not. It's going to be a sad situation all the way around, and there's
Oh,
nobody to blame but Sean Combs.
okay. All right. I hear
So
you.
that's just my thought. I mean,
I
them
hear you.
releasing him and letting him come back to get his affairs in order. Oh, he gonna get them affairs in order. He gonna get them in order to be able to jump ship.
He said he
That's
gonna
what
get
he
them
gonna
affairs in
do.
order. All right.
Yeah, he ain't got nothing. What does he have to lose by doing that?
mm.
So that's
Oh,
just my
that's a good
thoughts on it.
point.
So
Bab brings up a good point. Bab said this is why people don't go to the criminal justice system. This is why they just file civil lawsuits. Well, yeah,
yeah,
I hear
I
you.
mean, he's gonna pay. He's gonna pay out all the civil suits and stuff of that nature what he can before he decides to leave. He gonna be another. Who is it? Russell Simmons?
Mm,
No. Yeah. Yep. I mean,
okay.
it's like it's all a network coming out and finding out about all these artists who've been doing this and been doing that. Nothing surprises me now. Absolutely nothing surprises me now.
Yeah. I think the
So
one thing I'll say is a lot of these stories coming out gave so much credence to what we've heard. I mean, artists have been trying to tell us for years that these things were going on. And because and again, I'm going to say we and include myself, because we enjoyed our music so much, we didn't take it seriously. We didn't believe it. We villainized the victims, and I think that with so much coming out now, I think it definitely, um, gives a lot of credibility. It gives a lot of voice to the victims over the years. I mean, it doesn't undo anything. But it definitely gives a lot of voice to the victims that didn't necessarily have it before. So
And it actually shows as well, it's not just women who go through it in the industry. There are men who go through it as
yeah,
well in the industry.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
everyone's like, a man comes forward and he says he's been, SA'd by another man. He gets told, that don't happen. Close your mouth. Quit being a, da 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 da. And it just gets gapped off, so they never say anything about it. But now you have the proof right here.
True.
It,
Yeah.
it just it makes it scary for anybody to even. You have kids who grow up and aspire to be artists, to be actors, to be actresses. Now you're thinking in your head, is my child going to be safe if they become such and such? Mm,
True. All right. Thank you, little baby.
You're welcome.
You got the floor, boo.
Okay, I'm going to echo what just Jonda said earlier. I'll have to 1000% agree. As a layperson, if you handed me 63 pages of jury instructions, you lost me. that right there, and to have to continue, and when the jury was sending back notes to get more clarification and more clarification and more clarification, you lost them right there. I also believe that case was definitely DOA when Jane Doe took the stand. I don't understand how the prosecution listened to her story and thought any way, shape, fashion, or form that they were going to shape something up to get a conviction on that. Again, we're just regular people. The jury is regular people, which is everyone on the internet. Everyone came in with their perceived biases. I'm sorry. Well, not sorry. I'm not sorry. I'm not going to be sorry for a woman who's getting almost $5,000 a month in child support when most women can't even get their baby daddy to give them $250 a month. They fighting tooth and nail for that. So it's not like she was struggling. And then she had this man paying $10,000 a month for rent. And mind you, if you listen to her testimony, the more it went down a rabbit hole, he was actually tired of her, wanted to get rid of her because she became this really crazy, jealous individual, wanting more and more out the situation. She was, to your point earlier, with the testimony of them actually setting up the freak offs. She was actually setting up the freak offs because he would go days and months without talking to her.
Mm-hmm.
In order to get him to even respond to her and get him back in her good graces, she would proposition him with that stuff. So that's, to me, Jane Doe's case. What testimony is where the prosecution lost the jury because no one could understand that. And I like to see the internet. Shout out to Pam. I like to see the internet as a jury pool. At the start of the trial, you had people who were leaning more towards a guilty verdict. But once more and more testimony came through, and again, once Jane Doe hit the stand, you wrap it up. He wasn't going to prison over all that other stuff. At most, they did get him on the trafficking. He was hiring escorts, flying them across state lines and paying them for those acts. But that was about it that they had the strongest thing on. And shout out to Tracy. She was pointing out certain things that the government was trying to almost make everyday common dating culture, dating culture acts, if you will. Pretty much they were trying to tie that to prostitution and drug trafficking, like what is it? Pretty much if he had a bowl of drugs on the table and they took some, they were trying to say, well, that was distribution. That's a lot. because that happened at a college party. You could say that there. So yeah, just John to hit the nail on the head. They honestly lost me as someone who did not see him very favorable, but towards the end of that case of this trial, I was like, I'm not seeing him being convicted on a guilty verdict for majority of these charges. They definitely had one, but
and I kept saying prostitution. I kept saying, well, the prostitution is kind of, I mean, that's kind of a slam dunk. I mean, I kind of kept saying that. And again, I guess I'm just separating what I saw or read. I didn't see it. What I read versus what I believe. Now, do I believe that he's a SOB that has done some grimy stuff that is probably criminal behavior? Absolutely. Absolutely. Do I think that the prosecution proved all of what they said? And I'm not an attorney, but I'm saying from my, I kept telling y'all, because I'm not an attorney, from my point of view, if I were on the jury, I don't feel like it. Now, I know attorneys who do this for a living, they gave their opinion, but as a lay person, if I were on the jury, I'm just telling y'all, and again, everybody's different. That's why juries are what they are. I believe, hold on. I believe Tracy was next, and then Lovely Lady. I'm gonna drop the link one more time if anybody wants to come up, and then I'm gonna let everybody speak. All right. Go ahead, Tracy.
Is it too early for birthday shots?
I actually took a shot yesterday already, but I ain't taking one today yet. I ain't taking one today yet.
I'm just asking because I always like to get mine in.
I know you're ready. All
right, so I will say this, right? So as someone who's in New York, when you tell me something, you tell me to listen to something, I look at the law as he could be charged with this today, but my brother could be charged with this tomorrow. Because just because he's a celebrity doesn't mean the law stops at celebrity. The law will continue on, and it tends to trickle its way in itself down. So when you told me that Puff Puff Pass is now distribution, I was like, well, baby, I know a whole lot of people who is now will be considered, capable of distribution. When you tell me that you flying, because me and Babe, we're not married. So we're in New York. He flew me to New Jersey. He gave me money to gamble. I said I was going to do X, Y, and Z, and I didn't hold up wait. And then he did something, I wasn't happy. And then I could be like, ooh, I was like, wait, the things are getting too minute into the details of things that people do in their regular everyday life. And I understand people are like, oh, but it's illegal. Yep, absolutely. But there are tons of laws on the books that are illegal that really probably shouldn't still be there. How many states have adultery as still being illegal? And you should, that's a crime and you should go to jail for that. Like, so how many people cheat? They should all be locked up too. Like, I feel like at some point there is a thing of RICO was meant to get, and I get it, big mob bosses. I understand the concept of what they were trying to get, but they weren't in their personal lives doing things. It was like a business to like it just got a little murky for me when it comes to some of the things there. And it started to feel like I want to prosecute you for your personal life, not necessarily for your criminal enterprise of whatever else that you had going on. And I was like, Also, I'm not a very emotional person. And so when people say things, I don't look at it and be like, oh, I think they use that Cassie hotel video to their advantage to try and play into the sympathy of, oh, he's a terrible person because look what he did to her. And I'm like, absolutely, 1000%. He's a terrible person, but he's not being charged with that. And when the jury instruction said that the RICO was as of 2019, I was like, wait, y'all want Jane to be the person to wrap up this RICO for y'all? Jane? Oh, I'm sorry. I know a working girl when I see one. I know a girl who said, for this amount of money, I'm willing to do this. For this, I'm willing to do that. And this is what it is. I have friends that do that. Now, do I necessarily look at them as ladies of the night? Not really, but technically, yes, they are. Technically, but they have an understanding and agreement with whoever it is to get whatever it is that they gonna get. Hey, I also am in a spot of, I don't know if that should still be illegal in the day and age that we live in the time in which that we have, because flying someone, then you know how many do you know how many other people should be charged if it's just flying someone out to have sex and stuff? Like, it gets real murky for me. And because the laws are kind of based on things that are morally done, wasn't that what, last summer, the summer before that, flued out was the thing? Everybody was like, oh, I'm getting flued out, I'm getting flued out, I'm getting flued out. Like, so it gets a little, in that spot for me. And some things are, I feel like maybe the law needs to catch up with the times that we are in. And I understand the laws are a little behind. So there does need to be some resolution and some cleanup. But at the end of the day, I feel like Diddy should have went to jail a long time ago. Like, why are we playing? Diddy should have been in jail a long time ago. Diddy should have been in jail probably like 10 years ago. And I feel like maybe they waited too long to get him. And with the civil cases, a lot of them are like currently being looked at for like appeals, saying that the law that they are bringing the case in is unconstitutional. So if the courts say that that's unconstitutional, they're going to toss out a bunch of those civil cases. So then it's even more weird. So it's like, I don't know if you're using corporate funds. But here's the thing. Diddy is Bad Boy Enterprise. Like, Diddy is literally Combs Enterprise. That's like saying he used, like, and I think that's where it gets a little tricky in saying, like, if he as a person used this company card for every single thing he did in his life, personal, business, like, he wasn't swiping the card. All of his assistants said they, just use this card, and then they, separated it out on the back end. I can understand how someone who has been their own, business, their own enterprise, their own CEO for how many decades that he's been in this business, to him, Comb Enterprises is himself personally. So using the company card is like using your personal card. Like, and that's where things get, I understand legally what we're saying is right, but like as a lay person, as a day-to-day person, like I have a company card, I have like, and because I run a business and Bay runs a business, like we have other things, but I don't necessarily always look at my company card as something different than me, because I am that company. And I can understand that at the level he's at, he is Combs Enterprise. Like, so some of the stuff just gets real murky to us lay people, which is why I said sometimes maybe the laws needs to be updated, because it gets real murky. But either way, I want Diddy to get a good 5 years, a good 5 year sit down, and then let him come out and do whatever he gonna do. But I would say 5 years. 5 years sounds about good. 2.5 years for each count sounds great. Just, have him have a little fun, pay some monetary restitution or whatever. I wouldn't mind it.
So I hear what you're saying, Tracy. I'm gonna have to push back on a few things. I hear what you're saying, but if it doesn't matter whether that was the practice, if you're using your business credit card to do illegal activities, that is illegal. That is now you're now bringing in your criminal enterprise. So I hear what you're saying, but if you're using, I don't care if you're just going down to the 7-Eleven to buy some styrofoam cups for the company party. If you're commingling funds, that's a problem. But I hear what you're saying. I understand what you're saying as far as I just think that ultimately it took them too long to get to that. And so by the time they got to that, we've all said, we were burnt out because you made us listen to 2 weeks of sex talk. And at a certain point, whether you think Diddy is guilty or not, of whether you think he took advantage of these women or you just think he was really, really freaky, at a certain point, let's move on. We get it. We got it. We got it. I was reading the chat while Tracy was talking, and I understand that some of you guys believe that Diddy did everything that he's been accused of doing. And so I understand where you guys are coming from. This is what I'm going to say about in my opinion, about the Cassie thing, I think Cassie became an unsympathetic witness, and that is why they did not convict on trafficking. I don't know the legal statute. I was gonna look it up, but I didn't. But I think that's part of the reason why we didn't get that, because I think once people, and I know that this isn't fair, y'all. I know that this isn't fair, but we're talking about human nature versus what's right, what's wrong, what's fair, what's not. I think once people found out how much money Cassie walked away with, and I think once they saw that Cassie kept going back and kept going back, and they read some of those text messages where Cassie talked about she liked it and she initiated it and she set this stuff up. I'm not saying that makes everything okay, y'all. I'm not saying that makes everything okay. But what I am saying is I think that made her an unsympathetic victim at a certain point. That's all I'm saying. Y'all, I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I'm just saying, as a juror, after day 3 and you found out that Cassie walked away with $30 million, and you found out that Cassie kept going back and kept going back and kept going back, I just think that she became an unsympathetic and so then it became hard to prove trafficking when you're reading text messages where she's initiating the situations. Now, I know that no means no, and you have a right to say no up until the point of I get it. I'm not saying I agree. I'm just saying that might be why they didn't get that. They didn't get that. Y'all know what I'm saying? So I don't think he was charged with robbery. Was he charged with robbery? I don't remember all the counts.
He wasn't charged with robbery. I don't think
it
was a part of the RICO.
Right. So they can't convict him of robbery because that's not what he was charged with. They put it under the umbrella of RICO. A lot of stuff was under the umbrella of RICO. And if they didn't convict on the RICO, then there you go.
Yeah, you had to have 2 predicate offenses under RICO. So even if they did believe the bribery, they may not have been comfortable with one of the other predicate offenses to get at least 2. Because we saw the bribery piece, but again, if the jury saw it that way.
Absolutely.
But we, because there's always that. We don't know yet until they come out and start doing interviews, which we know they will. But,
they're going to definitely. They're going to talk. It's going to be.
At least for those trial watchers, we saw the bribery very clearly, in my opinion, with the hotel workers. But again, they either didn't view it that way, or even if they did view it that way, that may be the only predicate offense that they bought, as opposed to 2 of them. We just won't know what their reason was until they start talking, which again, they will. There's money to be made.
They're definitely going to
be out here trying to make it.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to get it. We're going to hear from a lot of these jurors.
Can I ask a question about RICO? Just so I make sure I clearly understand. Is the concept that you need to prove that these people conspired to or agreed for a crime, whether they committed it or not, and then they need to prove the other predicate offenses that happen? So does there need to be, like, him and KK agreed to do something illegal and then the predicate acts? Or is it just you prove the predicate acts, so therefore you prove a RICO? Because I think that's the part where I was confused of, are we, what people got together to agree to commit a crime or knowingly went into committing a crime, and these were the crimes? Like, that's the part for RICO that seems a little, that everyone still kind of is a little all over the place on.
I think she's asking you, Jonda.
Does anyone know?
I don't know. Jonda's the attorney. I think she's asking you because I don't know.
Because my computer seems to be moving it a little slow. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
It's okay.
So you do need. So I always describe RICO to people like a triangle. So you've got the enterprise. So that's the first thing. They need to be able to prove that there's an enterprise. We know that in this instance that there was an enterprise. There's Sean Combs Enterprises. That makes it even easier. So it wasn't like R. Kelly where getting to the enterprise was a little bit more complicated. Here, the enterprise is fairly easy because of the fact that there is a fully functioning business. So that's the first part. Then you have the individuals working in concert. Now, is it necessary for them to sit down and have this full conspiratorial agreement? Not necessarily. The law doesn't require that it be that specific. If there is, because we know, for instance, let's say if we're looking at some of the mafia cases, everybody that was a part of that enterprise may not have necessarily been may not have necessarily been meeting with the other person. Like Capo over here may not have met with Capo over there to decide to have a meeting on how many mercs to commit in any given time. But what we do know is that when those mercs were committed, they were ultimately for the benefit of the enterprise. So when you have cases like an R. Kelly or Combs, not only do you have the enterprise in existence as Combs Enterprises, but you also have him as the CEO. And this is where the personal part comes in and gets very confusing for lay people and a jury. I 100% agree, because now you do have the mixing of saying, okay, well, there's an enterprise, but a lot of the things that were alleged were for the individual, but that individual's enterprise was practically synonymous with them, which is what they're kind of saying here. That gets very murky, and I absolutely receive and respect that. But again, back to your original point, no, there doesn't have to be this fully fleshed out conspiracy. It just needs to be clear that the individuals who were a part of this enterprise, or even if the enterprise veered onto the personal, were doing things for the benefit of that entity at the top. And those predicate acts are the things that they were allegedly doing. I hope that helps.
It does very much.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay, Yana, baby. I know everybody and their cousin is live right now. People, it's all good. We just hanging out. We talking. I want to say this, and I understand it. I understand that when high profile cases like this happen, and we don't, when I say we, I mean people. Let me not say we, I mean people. And people don't get the verdict that they think should have happened. I understand there's a level of disappointment and there's a level of anger, right? I get it. But what I guess what I caution us to not do is to not act like this, that everyday people don't get away with shit all the time. Like, don't get me wrong. We know that big money wins the game. Like OJ Simpson beat them at their own game by being able to go out and get this quote unquote dream team. And that made white people mad, right? That pissed them off that this black man was able to get, a white man's justice because he could afford to get these expensive attorneys, right? I got it. But what we not gonna do is sit here and act like Junebug and Pookie don't get off all the time on shit that they should have gone to jail for. You know what I mean? Like, I get people's frustration. I get it. But I'm reading the chat and y'all are really acting like this the first time y'all have ever seen somebody. And you're like, oh, I guess it's just about big money. No, Pookie got away with it last week. Pookie did it last week and didn't go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I hear y'all though. I hear y'all. I understand it's frustrating. And I also think that for a lot of us who understand us, because that's the other thing, and I know Cruz came up here, she had to drop off, but I think she was going to get into like Stockholm syndrome and stuff like that, because she said something about that in the chat. I think for a lot of us, we understand. I think we understand Stockholm syndrome, and so we understand, like somebody said in the chat, there is no perfect victim. There is no perfect victim, right? And so we understand that there's a cycle of abuse, and people often go back, and they often go back many, many, many times before there's actually a conviction. I mean, before they actually that walk away. And a lot of times, we've talked about that here before, a lot of times when people do finally walk away, whether it's a man or a woman, that's usually the most dangerous time, is when they finally do leave and their abuser realizes, oh my goodness, they're really going to leave me. And so for me, I didn't get caught up in that part of it with Cassie, because I understand that there's a cycle of abuse. I understand why that women, I mean, and I'm going to keep saying women because it was women in this case. I understand that women often go back, and they often go back multiple times. Like, I get it. And then you add in the lifestyle, you add in the public profile of it all. I know it's real easy for us to sit over here and say we wouldn't, but it's easy to get caught up in that. It's easy to get caught up in that lifestyle and get caught up in. So you already in that cycle of abuse. And then you add to it, you're living good. Your family's living good. You don't want for nothing. You don't need for nothing. You taking private yachts and private planes and you shopping at Chanel. Like, I know that a lot of people would be like, I ain't don't, but a lot of people would. If we're being honest with ourselves, and I'm not saying everybody, because I know that that's not for everybody, but a lot of people, it would make it easier for them to get caught up. It would make it easier for them to get caught up. You know what I'm saying? But people are real quick to talk about why somebody didn't leave. So that's why I'm saying I think she became an unsympathetic victim. I'm not saying she was unsympathetic to me. I'm saying I think that after people sat through and they found out she walked away with that, $30 million, which hasn't been confirmed. But anyway, that's another conversation. Kim said, I disagree. Are you disagreeing with what I'm saying? Or are you disagreeing with people getting away? Like, what are you disagreeing with, baby? Something else I was going to say. Somebody said something else in the chat I was going to address. I don't remember. Damn, somebody said something else and I was going to address it and I don't remember what it was now. But yeah, I feel like, no, he blackmailed the family. Allegedly he blackmailed the family, but he also took care of the family. I mean, allegedly he blackmailed the family, but they also was living, he also took care of them, Right. Cassie walked away. She got $30 million allegedly from Diddy, but she also got a settlement from the hotel that is rumored that was about $10 million. So she also got, so that's where I got the $30 million from.
Oh yeah, no. Cassie confirmed it on the stand. So it was $10 million from the hotel, 20 from Diddy. So that's her 30. So yeah. She did.
So that's where I'm getting the $30 million from. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, he did give that money back. I was told that wasn't what. I don't know if I can say it yet. I don't know if I can say it, but I was told that story didn't go down the way it went, the way it was said in court. Let me tell y'all something. From what I was told, Diddy was still protecting Cassie, even in court. Diddy was still protecting Cassie because some of them things didn't go down the way. And testified to that they went down. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
Isn't it normal for people to tell the story in the light most favorable to them? I just thought that everyone knew that when people retell stories, 9 times out of 10, you retell it in the light most favorable.
Well, no, I don't even mean it from the light that is most famous. I mean, it's just a lie. That ain't the truth. I don't even mean they tell it from there. Okay, I'm gonna go on and say it. If my honest guy gonna get me my honest guy, just gonna have to cuss me out. What I was told was that was not how that story went down. That story where Cassie allegedly Diddy blackmailed Cassie's family about the sex tape and to get the money, allegedly that was not Diddy. That was Cassie. And that is why Diddy gave the money back as fast as he did, because allegedly that was not Diddy blackmailing the family. That was Cassie getting money. Because remember, Cassie was strung out. Cassie was on drugs. That was allegedly. Now, I can't say that's what happened, but that's what I was told.
I heard that too, Really B. I really did. I heard that she was the one that sent her mom that text and said that he was going to show those sex movies, whatever they was doing, to the public or whatsoever, unless they give her. He said he put that much money out for Cassie or something like that, and that's what they wanted back, because she told me they wanted to release her or whatever, and she went there beat up and all that type of stuff. But anyway, there's nothing more sickening and nauseating than a man getting away with his guilt.
Yeah, now again,
He
I ain't
didn't
saying.
get the
Oh, I'm
charges
sorry.
on the
Yeah, and I'm not saying it's
on the
true. I'm just
RICO.
saying that's what I was told. I ain't saying it's true, y'all. So don't. I ain't saying it's true. I'm just saying I was told that ain't how that story. That ain't quite how that story went down.
I'm sorry, can you hear me? I'm sorry, my phone went out.
I can hear you back. Go ahead.
Okay. The what I'm saying is, if you're gonna come in and charge a person with RICO, you look at the Young Thug trial, you look at the Gotti trial. They didn't just have one person sitting up in there. Young Thug had over like what 50 people. We can see them being charged with RICO. You got Diddy sitting in there by himself. Why didn't you bring the co-conspirators and send them in there as well? So if you want to do a RICO case, because as we know, it's urban legend. We not for sure that Diddy did all this stuff, but we know Diddy. It has been said that Diddy have did some heinous things in his past. I think the whole family is twisted, from the daddy, from the mama, now him. The kids getting caught up in this mess, doing the same things that he's doing. This is just a sick and twisted family. I feel sorry for the girls. I hope they go another way. I feel this is what I feel for myself. I feel God. I mean, I pray to God that my daughters never have to subject themselves to doing the things that these people have to do for money. But one thing about it, I have two kids in the military. One is a hairdresser. One is she does taxes. She does insurance. They do what they have to do. My son, I pray to God that he never ever treat a woman in a manner that I've seen that this or heard that this man have treat or seen. We seen on tape what he did to this girl in this manner. I pray that they stay on the straight and narrow, because money is not worth all this. You lost your self-respect, you lost your dignity, and you was hooked on these substances. And yes, if I give a person a narcotic at a party or whatsoever, and that person die, I'm liable for that person's death because I was the one that gave it to that person. So yes, that's distributing medication. Yes, it is. Because if you go back and you see all these kids that go to these parties and they end up giving one of their friends something that's laced with fentanyl whatsoever, that person dies, that person is held for that person unalive, even though that person took it willingly. Um, my thing is, this is a sick and twisted world, but then we got to look at who's at the top. We got a convicted felon sexual assaulter as our president. So we
Yep.
really think that something else is going to trickle down. All these men that been going to court with this stuff. You got Young Thug that got away with it. You got Diddy that getting away with some of this stuff. You got the other people that's getting away. I mean, this is totally ridiculous. But we got to look at the top, because this man has pardoned just about and gave pardons to everybody that's done the same things that he's done. He's done fraud. He's done criminal convictions. He was a sexual assaulter. Everybody that he's convicted and let out of prison basically has the same type of charges that he has. And that's why when people saying I don't think that he'll pardon Diddy, I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt nothing that this man does. I don't doubt nothing that these people do in this industry. And it don't have to be about money, as you said once before. Really be. It's the thing of it is money is the, like people say, money is the root of all evil. No, it's not the money that's the root of all evil. It's the people that's the root of all evil. Because money can't do anything. It can just sit on the floor or stay in a bank or be in somebody's pocket. The money can't do nothing until that person use the money to do what it needs to be done. And as I said before, that he did all this stuff way back in these days. Nobody brought it up. The same thing with R. Kelly. R. Kelly, people saying R. Kelly was doing this. So why are you bringing these people around knowing that he has this fetish for young kids? But you bringing them around because you know you want to get something out of it. So if you get something out of it and he's doing what he wants to do, then it's all well and good. But when the money dries up, oh, he was a sexual assaulter. And I'm not coming for him. I'm not defending him at all. I'm just putting it out there. Because I think that everybody that around R. Kelly, they tail should be locked up. The mamas, the dads, all of them should be locked up right along with him, because y'all allowed this. Here you got Dre Kelly. Somebody, she peeping out the door because she asking R. Kelly, can she go use the bathroom? Girl, these people are ridiculous and sick. And we are just the public. We're not these people. We giving our advice, we giving our opinions, but this is a sick and twisted thing that is going on. I don't know. Maybe that done Pope should have left them portals closed, because it's like a whole dark wave that just came over the dang whole world. That something is not right here. Everything is just off balance. That like how these people keep getting away with this mess, and they keep going, and nobody is stopping it. Nobody's doing nothing. Same with Congress, Senate, all this stuff. It's just it's ridiculous, and I just don't get it. But that's all I got to say, because I'm going down another deep rabbit hole. But that's all I got to say, Brother B. I'm glad you let me came up.
No, I appreciate it. What were you saying about Drea Kelly? Oh, what was wrong? What happened?
Hey, she was peeping out the door asking R. Kelly, could she go use the bathroom?
Because he was beating her ass.
Well, still, I mean, girl, get up out of there. I don't know y'all seen the Stockholm Syndrome. I get it. I'm talking about R. Kelly.
No, you don't. You don't get it if you sitting here making it seem like she could just walk out the front door.
No. I trust me. I've been in an abusive situation. I get it. Trust and believe. I get it. And I thought I was like, my mama used to tell me all the time when I was growing up, could nobody beat my butt on no darn baseball field, the schoolyard, whatsoever. And I was the skinniest thing up on the field. And my mama told me, you think your little ass, she said, you think you bad. But she said, it's always going to be somebody out there that's better than you. And I met that person. And yes, I dealt with that person. And I see when people saying you stuck that you leave, you want because you love that person whatsoever. But let me tell you something like this. This is something my granddad always told me. Never love a person more than they love you, because you always get the bad end of the stick. And once I started putting that in my head, I was in the military and all that type of stuff too. And I started coming through it. So yeah, I get it. No, I get it. I'm one person that get it. But I'm not feeling like I was told, love don't never supposed to hurt. And if it's hurting me, it's killing my soul, I can't do it. And I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm just speaking for me. Because I was always taught love don't hurt. But that's all I got.
Okay. Thank you, baby. Okay. Final words, Tracy, and then I'll let the Esquire have the final word. Tracy.
Is it time for a shot now?
I'm no.
Oh, okay. All right, I just figured out. Oh, you're doing a birthday live later. We'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to sneak that in there, but I'll say this. I want Diddy to get at least a good 5 years. At least a good 5 years. Just that's where I am now. Let's give him some good time.
Let me tell y'all something. As we speak, Diddy is being fitted for his custom suit. His personal barber is probably already down there giving him a fresh shave. They probably putting that Beijing in so we don't see all that gray we've been hearing about. Diddy is gonna walk his happy ass out that court today on bond, pending him having to turn himself in. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I would not hold my. Listen, don't get mad if that man don't get no time. That's all I'm gonna say. He was convicted of prostitution, y'all. I mean,
it's not funny.
It's not funny, but he's already been in jail for almost a year. Like, don't be surprised if the judge give him time served and a bunch of probation. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying don't get hung up on. Oh, well, he could serve up too. Yeah, he could, but he probably not.
Yeah, he not. I don't see that happening. You know what? I'll say this, which is the sad thing that I really see happening is he's gonna be able to get out. They're gonna give him an ankle monitor, tell him, get your affairs in order. Because federal a lot of times let them get affairs in order and turn themselves in and stuff like that. So that part isn't really shocking to me. But I think that no good 47 is gonna be like, oh, my friend, pardon. And my good 5 years is gonna go down the drain. And that's right there gonna be like, all right, and I'm not looking forward to that. But that's what I think is gonna happen. I think, while he out appealing, because he gonna appeal these two charges. Oh, he gonna appeal. Let's be clear. The attorneys right now is working on an appeal. Absolutely not. But whatever. But unfortunately I think 47 gonna be like, oh, and give him a pardon, and he ain't gonna have to go back to jail, which
I
is
wouldn't
sad
be
enough.
surprised. I wouldn't be
Which is
surprised by
sad
that at
enough.
all.
But I mean, a good
Wouldn't
5 years.
be.
Either
Diddy
way,
gonna be
the
on.
only
Diddy gonna
thing,
be on Star Island for 4th of July.
hey, listen,
He's gonna be on Star Island for 4th of July weekend, child.
you know what? The one thing this case taught me is y'all need to press charges as soon as it happens. Report it immediately.
And
Tell
that's the other thing I
tell
think people are
somebody.
forgetting. I think that's the other thing people are forgetting as well. Some of those charges, that's why they tried to put it under the RICO, because some of those charges, the statute of limitations had run out, like the domestic violence part of it. That the process, the statute of limitations have run out on that incident. If they couldn't get somebody saying that Diddy beat them within the last however many months or years of the statute, then that's why. And I think that's another reason why they tried to put everything under the RICO. And I think that was a way, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that was a way of them trying to circumvent the statute of limitations if they could put everything under the RICO. So I think that's when people say, oh, well, why did they go with the RICO? I think that was them trying to get all of those things that they felt Diddy had done. It just wasn't successful, child.
So I will say this, regardless of whatever happens, y'all, if something happened, report it as soon as it happened, document it, take pictures, tell somebody, do something. Don't just sweep it under the rug. These people need to be brought to justice immediately. And I understand it's easier said than done, and it's easy for me to say, oh, go file charges, go press charges, go do something. But if we've not learned anything from Diddy, is that joker should have been in prison. He should have been locked up. And as we look over these cases and we look over the things that's happened, everybody's saying, but that was bribery. That was this. That, all of those was charges that joker should have been charged with. So report it, tell somebody, document it. Don't let these horrible people continue to be horrible people out in the U.S. Send them on to send them on. You know what? 47 was making the little alligator alley for the people he looking to deport. I mean, there's probably a couple people who I wouldn't mind going up over there instead of the people who looking to get deported. There's a couple criminals we could put over there or something. Y'all just, report it, say something, do something. I'm ready to take shots for Really B's birthday. No? Okay. I gotta wait till later. Fine.
I agree. AMJ Durkee says women need to have each other's backs. Stop helping the men by blaming the victims. Baby, that ain't nothing but a word. That ain't nothing but a word. If we don't stop, and women do it to each other, and I'm gonna come at the women more than I'm gonna come at the men, because men, it's a patriarchy society. But women defending these men, women always finding excuses to defend these men. I mean, the fact that there's women still out here hating on Meg, I just don't understand it. I am so confused by that. But I'm with you on that one. Shout out. Yes. Thank you, everybody. I haven't been ignoring you guys. Thank you, everybody who's been wishing me a happy birthday. I didn't want to keep interrupting. But thank you so much, everybody. And don't forget to come back later on. We're going to be doing a full-on party. I wasn't planning on going live this morning, but of course, once the verdict came in, child, I had to say something, honey. I had to say something. So I hope you guys will come back later on for the full-on celebration situation. I'm getting ready to head out in a few minutes. That's another reason why I ain't fooling with Tracy taking a bunch of shots, because I'm about to head out of here. Just Jonda, you have the final word. Oh no, I'm sorry. Well, no, Lovely, you just spoke. Just Jonda, you have the final word, my love.
Thank you. And again, my screen is stalling out, so raise a finger or something if you can't hear me.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, so a couple of quick points and then just going to go into wrap up, because I know a lot of people want to know what's next and like the real deal of what's next. But just a couple of quick things going back to Cassie, why so long? Really quick, I think there's reasons we know that nobody's going to come out and say, but it's true. They started with her not just because she was pregnant, but because if you have a trial and there's a possibility to paint them as the villain immediately, then that's what you do, so that everything else the jury sees and hears, they are seeing it and hearing it through that lens of
Okay.
this is a bad person. So anything that they hear, they automatically have a negative connotation, which is not a bad thing because you're the prosecution. So that's your strategy, is to prove that this person is a bad person and to make people want to convict him of what you're asking them to convict him of.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
But I do, and I think that to give some of the jury a little credit, because we don't know them, I do think that her testimony could have been effective, especially since it was followed up shortly by some expert testimony. It was followed up by a SMEX worker who did feel bad for her because of some of the things he witnessed. But then they put on two witnesses who were not only useless, but did not appear credible to them. And certainly in relation to the Jane Doe witness, not only did she come off useless, she potentially appeared not credible. She also appeared unsympathetic. So if there was anybody who was leaning towards sitting on the fence or leaning towards not having sympathy for Cassie, she sealed it by circling back to these were just chicks trying to hit a lick and mad when the lick wasn't hitting anymore. And so anybody who wanted to believe that or was on the fence, she handed that to them with a silver platter. As far as broader cultural implications, that is going to be discussed for years to come. But at the end of the day, I think that we have already seen the bastions of hip hop, those who are on social media, those who are on the radio. We have seen people very loudly throughout this do a very effective job of boxing this in to make it seem like Diddy alone was an anomaly and a freak. And then when you add to it that his defense team, to their credit, I mean, I'm a defense attorney, so I'm with it. To their credit, they did a good job of fighting, and I'm sure there was a lot of other behind the scenes fighting. And the prosecution rightly agreed, because it would have made things a little more confusing, to keep other names out of it, despite the fact that we know not every room was just him, Cassie, and some hookers.
Mm-hmm.
So even Kevin Hart talked about the fact that he had to leave because Diddy parties get a little wild afterwards, and he was joking at the time, but behind
he wasn't joking.
Exactly.
Right, he wasn't joking.
Yeah, he just didn't expect that video wouldn't age well. And I'm sorry, my wig is crooked, but anyway, so we just gonna tell the truth, shame the devil, because somebody gonna mention it.
It's all good. It's all good.
Anyway, but finally, because again, that could go on forever. The industry will go on as usual because it is already going on as usual. People want to box this in. People do not want the hip hop reckoning that should have been signaled years ago with Russell Simmons and others. The hip hop reckoning that should have been signaled with the release of Confessions of a Video Vixen and those VH1 documentaries that showed behind the scenes at the video shoots, which mysteriously disappeared. You can't find them anymore. So we know that this is going to be in a box, and Diddy will pretty much be like an OJ in that he's not going to be in jail. He's going to be looked at like a bit of a pariah, but he will continue to live well. And those who like him, although his situation might even be better than OJ, because unlike OJ, who had kind of distanced himself from the African American community, the community came together to root for him to win the case and then let him go back to hanging with white people. Diddy maintained his presence as a part of the culture. So the culture is not going to completely abandon him, because the culture is also rooted in misogyny that and misogynoir that is going to make this all about women just trying to hit a lick. Once he was not convicted of RICO and only convicted of the charges that he was convicted of, it allowed that cognitive dissonance that I talked about that was already kind of in the cosmos to completely take hold. So will he be on stages with the white folks anymore? No, but eventually he will be on stages with the black folks. He'll be getting an award from Hollywood Unlocked like Jonathan Majors in about a year or so. Now, finally, what happens next? Really quick, because I know you want to go, and I want you to celebrate your birthday, because I'm going to come on later, and even while I'm doing my show, I'm going to honor you and take a shot while I'm doing it. So, anyway, court is adjourned. I was looking it up. That's why you saw me looking down while you were on the air, because I was trying to follow it so I'd be accurate. Court is adjourned. Since this court does allow filing by letter, we know that his attorneys won't have to go through the culture. I'm sorry, I read culture. Won't have to go through the trouble of filing a long, complicated motion. They as you saw, they do a lot by letter. And which is great that this judge has allowed that. So they will submit a letter and they will ask that his bond is reconsidered, because his initial bond was based on the charges that he was charged with, balanced against him being a flight risk, balanced against the allegations of tampering and all of that. So those things don't necessarily go away, those concerns about him being a flight risk and the fact that he allegedly tried to interfere with the court process. The court can still give him the side eye for that. However, the other part of the balance is crucial here that may get him bond, is that the stakes of the charges are substantially lower. Before, he was facing charges that potentially involved violence because of the predicate offenses, and also carried up to life sentences. Now he's not facing charges that are as serious anymore. He's been convicted of stuff down here as opposed to up there. So that helps with the balancing act with the court. So he has a better chance of possibly getting bond. It's going to be high, but he's got it. The bond wouldn't be $100 million anyway. So he's got it. So I suspect he could potentially get bond pending sentencing, which we know will, could be, and depending on the court's calendar, which can be funky during the summer, his sentencing could very well not be until late summer, early fall, unless the court was already holding space for it, which is possible because that, it's court specific. But it'll be a few months. We saw this with Epstein, Cosby, whatever, a few months. So hopefully for him, his hope and his attorney's hope is that he'll get bond. I think his chances are much better. Then when he goes for sentencing, my prediction is that even if he does get the 5 years that good Sister Tracy is hoping for, it will be suspended probably in its entirety, because he will have almost an entire year of time served. You got to remember, for those of us with kids, and I know you're a teacher, so you remember when the indictment came down, it was September. He's basically been in jail for an entire school year, for about 9 months.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. He's been in jail for almost a year, and almost a year, right? And again, I think I told you guys this before, but if I didn't, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm spilling all the tea today. Thank you, Don Boo. But Diddy had bond, and this is why I say his arrogance. Diddy's attorneys and the AUSA had worked out a bond deal, which is why Diddy was selling his house and he was getting cash together, because they had worked out a bond deal. They were going to do the whole, go in, get your bond, go out the back door situation. But when they found out that Diddy was trying to tamper with witnesses and calling people, that is when they were like, oh, hell no. Like, he need to stay. No. So I think he's going to, y'all, I really do. I agree with everything you just said. He going home, child. like I said, he gonna be in Star Island for the 4th of July.
Yes, I think if not by the 4th of July, soon thereafter. We know that the judge was willing to come to court tomorrow if the jury was still deliberating. They kept that from the jury. Remember, that was a debate yesterday. So they're going to ask for an emergency motion, because why would you want your client in jail for a 5-day weekend, especially given what he's paying his attorneys? So they're going to ask for an emergency motion. Whether or not the judge hears it tomorrow, obviously, is at his discretion. And since it's just a motion, there's actually the possibility, I know it would happen here, but I'm on the state court level, not sure if the feds will do it. They could even do a motion like that, potentially even virtually, to just for the convenience of the parties. I can't imagine his attorneys would object to it, because they just want to be heard. And then so it's going to be interesting to see whether or not he makes it. He will not go to be in Star Island, now that much I can guarantee, but maybe the Hamptons. He's not going to be allowed to leave New York no matter what.
Okay, so he'll have to stay in New York. Okay.
Oh, for sure, because it's his bond conditions would be like any normal bond conditions. Because remember, when they first brought him back to New York, he was preparing to stay in the area, turned himself in.
Right, because they had worked out an agreement for bond.
Yeah, they never but I'm talking about just logistically, like a New York place and whatever. They never in a million years anticipated that he was going to be locked up, because they came prepared to turn in passports and a suitcase full of money, or several suitcases full of money, for bond, and the judge just had another thing coming for them. So I think that is so I think his chances are good. It's just a matter of whether or not the judge is going to be generous about letting that chance be taken tomorrow, versus having him stew on it until Monday. I do agree that because of the other thing I agree with, and then, I know that we need to go, again, long term, I think his chances with somebody's favorite president, because it ain't mine, are good, because he was not convicted of anything that involved violence or anything. So this is a good situation for his attorneys to go running to their good friend, Mr. Trump, who likes to just do things just to be doing things. So I think if he doesn't outright pardon him, then he whatever he gets will be commuted. But I think they'll be looking for a pardon, because I honestly don't think he's going to get servable jail time or anything that's going to matter, because he's already served the better part of a federal year when you factor in good behavior. When you factor in good behavior, 9 months is damn near a year in Fed time. Like, it's more like 10 months is basically a year in Fed time. So I think in the long run, however the sentencing shakes down, he goes home. We also have to remember, unless I'm forgetting something, I don't think that Diddy has priors. And if he does have priors, they are non-violent priors.
Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he should have, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, if he may have some misdemeanors, but if I recall, he does not have any felonies. That's the most important thing. He's not a convicted felon. I believe I'm correct in that. Yes, Lil Baby, this crime is nonviolent, but I'm talking about the actual his history, because that comes into play for sentencing.
You're correct.
Not believe he's a felon. So
he's not.
Even
You're right.
From a sentencing standpoint, things look good. Now, yes, they're going to bring in all this other stuff to just paint him as a bad person, but his history is his history. He has a family. He's been a credit, charity wise. We know the other ways he hasn't been a credit to the community, but sentencing is your opportunity to put your best foot forward. And he will do that, showing off all the things he's done for the world. And he's entitled to do that. If I were defending him, I'd do all that too. And it's kids and everything like that. They're going to do a big song and dance, but honestly, I don't even think they have to. And even once all that's done, they are 1,000,000% going to appeal this case.
Okay, yeah. He did beat up Steve Stout, but I don't think that became a criminal case. I don't think I think Steve Stout filed a civil lawsuit and then it was settled.
Yeah. And even with some of the things that he's in, because he's been in court multiple times, we know that. But whatever stuff he was or wasn't convicted of, he has managed to avoid felony convictions no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah.
Now, if he's got some misdemeanors on there, Lil Baby is confirming no felonies. He may have some misdemeanors on there because of charges he took in order to avoid those felonies, but it's those felonies that matters. In terms of any types of guidelines, the felonies matter. And then they'll talk about all the other stuff. They're going to talk about the fact that he used the drugs. They're going to talk about the freak offs. They're going to talk about all of this other stuff for sure. They would be not doing their jobs if they didn't. But again, he's already been in jail for the better part of a federal year for what essentially are transporting prostitutes and not even being the pimp. Right. So now, do I think he should get more? Yes, but that's because of all the stuff we know that he's done that he wasn't convicted of, but that's not the way it works. That This is taking the personal out of it.
Right. All right, you guys, I'm got to get ready to head out of here because I'm getting ready to go to late lunch, early dinner. And I will see you guys later on tonight. Thank you, everybody who came up. Thank you, everybody who said birthday wishes. Thank you to the Cash Apps and the Super Chats. And I will see you guys later on tonight. Mwah! Talk to y'all later.
Cheers with the water bottle.
That's right. That's all I'm drinking right now.